Okay, so we're given these two functions, and we're going to start finding a combination of functions like adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So let's start with the addition. So f plus g means, you just do you plug x. This is like a given number. You plug it into each function. So it will be f of x plus g of x. F of x is given, so that's square root of x minus 8, and g is minus x. So that's it. That's just this for f plus g. Now, compute the domain of this. So domain of f plus g, okay, domain of f plus g is the intersection of domain of f and g. So I'm just going to find domain of both functions. So to find domain of f, this is a radical function, so inside has to be greater than equal to 0. Inside is x minus 8, so greater than equal to 0 means x is bigger than equal to 8. And this is a linear function, so g is linear. So let me say df, that's domain of f, and d of g is going to be a real number because it's a linear function. So domain of all linear function is always a real number. Okay, now I'm going to find intersection of these two. To find intersection, so I'm just going to like graph each one and find the overlap. So this is like a 0. Negative 8 is right here. Negative 8 is right here. So x bigger than 8 means all of this. The other one, I'm going to use blue color. So other one is from negative infinity to positive infinity. So that's all of this. And the intersection of these two is just the two colors, right? This is overlap. So that means x is bigger than equal to negative 8, which means we'll just do this. So we'll just take this as an interval. Which is negative 8 to infinity. That's your domain. Okay, so that's it for f plus g. So this is domain of f plus g. So this will be the answer for the domain of the first part. Now the second part. Okay, let's call that b. I think this was the first part a. Now this part is b. Now we're gonna do f minus g x, and that is just f of x minus g of x. So we're basically just subtracting two functions. And f was square root of x minus 8 minus, and the g is negative x. So therefore, when I distribute this negative sign, then this is going to turn into positive. Okay, so then this is the equation for f minus g. So the answer will be just this, right? And domain is the same. So domain of f minus g is also the intersection. So I'm going to write the same exact thing. So the domain is also domain of f minus g. Domain of f minus g will also be negative 8 to infinity. Okay, so this is the answer for the domain. Okay, now the next part, C, I'm going to multiply. So it's f times g, f times gx. And f times gx is just f of x times g of x. And f of x is square root of x minus 8. Yes, and then g of x is negative x. So when I multiply these two, I'll just get negative x times square root of x minus 8. That's it. So that's the answer. We can't simplify this. Just this. And again, the domain is going to be the intersection of these two. So the domain of f times g is, again, that's just going to be from positive 8 to infinity, right? So let me see if the other one, this is positive, sorry. I use a negative 8 here, but that was positive actually. Yeah, all of these are positive. Okay, I'm sorry. I think when I write here positive 8, but then for some reason I copied negative 8. So that should be all positive 8, not negative 8. Okay, this is positive 8, and let's say 0 is right here. So just to clarify that. Okay, yeah, everything else is good. So that's the domain for the multiplication. Okay, now the last one is d. D is the division. So we're dividing these two functions. Divide it, and this will just be f of x divided by g of x. F of x is square root of x minus 8, and g is negative x. So we can't simplify this further. We're just going to leave it like this. So this will be the answer for f divided by g. Now the domain is again going to be the intersection, but here we have an additional requirement, what makes the bottom 0, because this is a rational function. So set the bottom to 0, set the denominator to 0. So negative x equals 0 means x equals 0. We're going to delete this because this is going to make the denominator 0. So delete this number from the domain. Okay. And for the top, we know this is, again, for this one is x bigger than or equal to 8, right? So let's just put it right here. So this is 0, and the 8 will be like right here. So x bigger than 8 is all of this. But we're going to delete 0, right? We're going to delete a single point, but the point is already outside. So it's already out, right? So I will just take this then. So again, the domain of this one will also be this. So you see the domains are all the same, but sometimes it can be different. It just depends on the function, like I said. See, if the 0 was inside, then it will be different, right? But the 0 is outside, so then I don't need to worry about it. So it's just from a to infinity. Okay, so I guess that's all. I answered all the questions.